Hi, I'm Jennifer Anderson, Superstar Director of Radiant Rockstars. It's Tuesday night, ROCKSTAR RALLY night, my favorite night of the week where I get to spend it with all of you. Tonight we're wrapping up Big Business Blueprint. This is a bonus call. And if you've been following Big Business Blueprint, you know we already dove into all 4 of the building blocks. And so tonight's sort of like a bonus wrap up. And I just want to give an overview of what we talked about, but then I'm going to give you basically what I think are the 10 big business best practices that you should kind of live and die by in your business. So let's review real quick. If you're like, what is Big Business Blueprint? What are we even talking about? We've spent the last 4 weeks in this series where I talked about what I believe are the 4 building blocks of a great business. Four building blocks of a great hobby business, or a great part-time business, or a great, huge, big business. I believe that the 4 building blocks build on each other, and so we start with number 1, and that is sales. That's the first building block, and there are lots of ways to get sales in Scentsy. There's home parties, basket, bag, tote, on-the-go parties, whatever you want to call them. You can collect orders. You can just collect orders from people. You can do sales through follow-up. Follow-up is a huge source of income and PRV as you continue to grow your business and have customers who reorder with you. You can have sales through social media selling. You can have sales through in-person events, fairs, shows, festivals, things like that. You can have sales from fundraisers. There's lots of different ways to get sales. The second building block is recruiting, and that is the act of bringing people into the business. It's just them clicking the $99 join and all the things that you do leading up until that moment. Or right now, $20 join, right? Or having them host a party and join for $59. The second one is recruiting. The third building block is sponsoring, and that is the ongoing relationship that starts from the moment they click join for the rest of their consultantship. And the last building block is personal growth that we talked about last week. And we talked a lot about ways to take care of yourself, ways to take care of your business, ways to find balance, ways to prioritize what's good and what's not good. So when we're looking at these 4 building blocks, it's sort of idealistic to say like, okay, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, right? Like this is kind of where I focus my time or my energy. But honestly, I've never known a business to have equal parts of all 4 building blocks, okay? And there are going to be many different times in your business where you're going to be really heavy on one and maybe light on another. And that's important to understand that in the beginning, and I think it's important to understand as you prepare yourself to build a big business in the long run. It's completely okay if you have times in your business where you're very heavy sales or very heavy recruiting or very heavy sponsoring. You're doing a lot of team training and coaching calls and one-on-one and meetings and all. Like, it's okay to be heavy in one area at certain times of your business. And there are going to be times in your life and in your business where your business demands that from you. There might be times where you need to be very heavy sales because you've exhausted the people in your circle and you don't have anyone to sell to anymore because either you haven't done follow-up well and they've stopped purchasing from you, or they've joined your team, right? Or they're now hosts. So maybe you need to be very heavy sales so you can be meeting new people and expanding your circle. Or there might be times where you've been a consultant for a long time and your team is dwindling because you haven't been focused on recruiting like you should, so you need to go heavy recruiting. Here's the thing. I just want to tell you this, if you want the fast track to promotions in your business and income growth, you need to be heavy recruiting. That's it. Very simple. If you want to be on the fast track to the top, if you want to be on the fast track to director, fast track to earning trips, fast track to growing your income, it's literally going to be about recruiting heavy all the time. Okay? But like we talked about before, if you go back and think about what we talked about the first week in video number 1, sales are the gateway to recruiting. sales are the gateway to meeting new people. Sales are where you have to begin. So if you want to be a heavy recruiter, you got to start with the sales. Okay? So this is how, like we talked, they build upon each other. Allow for there to be ebb and flow in your life and in your business. Allow yourself to maybe step back from one of the building blocks. At some points, you're going to need all four of them all the time. But how much you need of all four really varies a lot. For example, if I look at my business maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I have earned annual sales award literally every year since I've been a consultant. In order to earn the annual sales excellence award, you have to sell a minimum of 2,500 PRV every single month on average for a total of 30,000 PRV in a year. I've earned that award every single year for like the last 9 years. Okay? So you might look at my business and say that I'm a heavy seller. Now, in order to get those heavy sales, 6 or 7 years ago, I did a lot of home parties, a lot. I used to drive 2 hours for a home party. I used to drive 3 hours. I used to drive an hour. I used to book home parties and do them like crazy. But do you guys know that I haven't done a home party, just being fully transparent, honestly, I haven't done a home party in like the last 4 years. And it's a combination of moving, COVID, life looks different, had a kid, like all these different things, right? But in reality, the world that I live in now and the world that you live in now, home parties might be more difficult to come by because people don't want to have them. And it's okay to say that. There are going to be leaders who tell you that like, oh, no, you need to have home parties and home parties are the only way to sell Scentsy and home parties are the best way. Guys, PRV is PRV is PRV. Who cares where it comes from? It doesn't matter how you get it. One way of attaining PRV is not better than another. Okay? I will say this, home parties have advantages, like you get to meet people face to face and have connections, and people get to see you do the thing and realize like, oh, this is fun and simple and maybe I could do that too. Those kind of aha moments happen at parties when those things can't happen at basket parties because people don't know you. Sometimes if you do an event or a fair, you guys know that I do like big events where I set up big booths, elaborate booths, and people come shop. A customer is very unlikely to come there and say, oh, that looks simple. I could do that, right? It's a different way of recruiting. So allow for there to be ebb and flow, but always be willing to change in your business. Because if I today was like, oh no, I have to book home parties, have to, I might have 200 to 300 PRV and that's it. I had to be willing to change. I had to be willing to try online parties. I had to up my follow-up game. I had to look for different ways to meet new people. Guys, I didn't want to do online parties and I was afraid of them because it was totally out of my wheelhouse. But I challenged myself and I live by this motto of evolve or die. Evolve or die. So you kind of have to live by that in your own business too, okay? There are 2 things, even with considering Big Business Blueprint and the 4 building blocks, that you have to do always and forever for the rest of your career as a consultant. There are 2 things you should always be doing. Whether you are certified consultant, you just started and you're an essential, you're a star consultant, director, superstar director, it doesn't matter if you're in the circle of excellence. 2 things you have to do always and forever. Number 1 is meet new people. Always and forever be meeting new people. And number 2 is recruiting. You have to do those 2 things for the rest of your life, forever and ever. So just know that right now. Those are part of Big Business Blueprint. Those fall under sales and recruiting. Those fall under those 2 building blocks, okay? So allow for ebb and flow. You're not going to be equally focused on all 4, but understand that they build upon each other. Once you master one, you move to the next. Master that one, move to the next. And don't skip the personal growth like we talked about. Okay? So, big business best practices. Here are my 10 best practices that I have for you in order to build a big business. Okay? Number 1, Stick to the 4 building blocks because the rest is just fluff. Trust me. Stick to the 4 building blocks because the rest is just fluff. If you have something going on in your business that doesn't fall under one of those building blocks, it's just fluff and probably isn't making you money, and it's probably okay to toss it out. Okay? Stick to the 4. Stick to the 4. Number 2, continually be evaluating your business to cut the fluff. Continually be evaluating your business to cut the fluff. And what I mean by that is, we know stick to the 4. We know the building blocks. We know the things that we should be doing to be successful. But it's easy for us to get distracted by what other people are doing or some new idea or something fun. And it's easy for us to put fluff into our business. And what ends up happening is we actually just get clouded and distracted. And it could eventually weigh you down. So always evaluate your business to cut the fluff. Number 3. In the 4 building blocks, do IPAs first. IPAs are income producing activities. In the 4 building blocks, you want to be doing IPAs first before you do anything else. Basically, if there's an activity that you want to do within the 4 building blocks, but it's not an income producing activity, you only do that after your income producing activities are done. Okay, income producing activities first. Number 4, if something is fun for you or brings you joy, do it. Even if it's not an IPA. And you might think that I just contradicted myself, okay? But I didn't. I said do your IPAs first. Number 4 says if there's something fun for you that brings you joy that's not an IPA, do it. Joy is such a crucial and important part of longevity in your business. You want to have a business that you like to do for a long time, do those things that bring you joy and make you happy, even if they don't make you money. Okay? Number 5, and I wrote this in all caps, okay? Do not worry about what someone else is doing. That one's in all caps. Number 5, do not worry about what someone else is doing. It is so easy for us to get distracted by both failures and successes of others. It's very easy for a leader to make the failure or success of others our fault or our problem, right? It's very easy for any consultant to see a beautiful, creative, super fun idea that someone did that is giving them success and trying to force it into our business, even if it doesn't fit into our business or our life, or it's not something that we love to do. It's so easy to do that. But number 5, do not worry about what someone else is doing. Stick to your guns. Stick to your bones. Build your business the way you want to do it. I will never tell you this is the only path to success. You must do it the way I do it. I will never tell you, here's a script. Never, never, never. You have to find your own path. You have to find the way that you want to work and do the things in your business the way that you want to do it. Number 6, remember, people don't need freebies. They just need follow-up. Number 6, people don't need freebies. They just need follow-up. And this goes both for your team members and your consultant and your customers. Your team members don't need you to send them gifts and freebies and spend tons of money. They don't. Your customers don't need you to spend tons of money on shipping and products and freebies and samples. You know what they do need? Connection and follow-up. They need you to give a crap about them. They need you to care. Follow-up. Consultants and customers both. Number 7, be as generous as possible. Be as generous as possible. And this doesn't contradict number 6. Generosity doesn't mean things necessarily or money. Be generous with your time, with your thoughts, with your prayers, with your just care and concern for someone. Be generous with offering help and training. Be generous with sharing information and ideas. Be as generous as possible. Number 8, be the best. Be the best. You don't have to be the most talented, but you do have to be the hardest working. I saw a quote, and I think it's from Babe Ruth. Wait, I'm not going to butcher that. Strike that from your memory. Babe Ruth said something about like what I'm about to say, but I don't want to put this in his mouth. Anyway, there's this quote that says, hard work beats talent every time. Okay? And it's so incredibly true. Be the very best. If something is weak, make it your strength. If something is hard, become a student. Learn. Stretch yourself. Be the best. Be the best at customer service. Be the best at sponsoring. Be the best at online marketing. Be the best at all of these things. You don't have to be the most talented, but you do have to be the hardest working. Number 9, don't sacrifice your long-term benefits for your short-term comforts. In other words, don't trade what you want most for what you want at the moment. It's easy to do. It's easy to do, but don't trade what you really want in life for what you want right now that's comfortable. And number 10, I'm going to read this quote to you so I don't butcher it because I love this. J. Paul Getty, who was the richest man in the world in 1957, said this: I would rather make 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own. That's exactly how this business works. I'd rather make 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. That's exactly how this business works. That's the key to long-term wealth. That's the key to a big business with Scentsy. And not only is it about income growth and big business and long-term wealth, it's about sharing the success with 99 other people. It's about taking 99 other people to the top with you. It's about not doing it alone, because that's what every other company or plan or idea or business or corporation in the world is doing. One person to the top. Blah, blah, blah. Like, we're about taking everyone to the top with us. That's what Scentsy is. And I loved that quote. It was both profound and powerful, I thought. So, pretty simply, those are my 10 big business best practices. Those are things that I've either learned over the years or that have helped me navigate my business over the last decade. Those are things that I believe contribute to a big business. These are things that I think can help you build a great business as a hobbyist too. But these are just good guiding principles for you as you grow in the Scentsy compensation plan. That's what I have for you tonight.